The Republican Party condemns the rioting, looting, arson, and violence we have seen in Democrat-run cities all, like Kenosha, Minneapolis, Portland, Chicago, and New York, and many others, Democrat-run. There is violence and danger in the streets of many Democrat-run cities throughout America. This problem could easily be fixed if they wanted to. Just call. We're ready to go in. We'll take care of your problem in a matter of hours. Just call.
When individuals get crowbars and start prying open doors to loot, they're not protesting. They're not making a statement. They're stealing. When they burn down a building, they're committing arson. And they're destroying and undermining businesses and opportunities in their own communities that rob jobs and opportunity from people in that area. So it is entirely appropriate that the mayor of Baltimore, who I spoke to yesterday, and the governor, who I spoke to yesterday, work to stop that kind of senseless violence and destruction.
Fortunately, there are people out here looting, but you can't tell angry people how they can be angry. You know, that's like telling the slaves not to burn down Master's house.
They say the time for political action is now. We say the spectacle repeats a rotation and comes home to Dogville. They say voting is our civic duty. We say building power is more than placing faith in politicians. They say ignore what you want to beat what you don't. And with that, the election has returned home. The 4-year ritual. The 4-year ritual of being forced to believe more lies. The ultimate strategy of concession, operating as a program of counterinsurgency. In the growing clatter of liberal and conservative loyalists, democracy's vacuous duty rings out as nothing other than a co-option and counter-revolution that places harm reduction at the forefront of our desires for something else. The state and its curators of misery point to their own failings structurally and individually, and arrogantly attempt to affirm that only voting can solve the irreconcilable cracks that capitalism created. The lies they offer us, like platters stuffed full of unachievable proclamations, beg us to not look too deeply into what they are hiding, into the fact that what they say in the presidential race rarely comes to life in office. Our entire relationship to politicians is based upon accepting their lies. What happens when we cannot stomach their decadent feast of deceit and disregard any longer? What happens when we desert the options and structures presented to us by this system?
We understand the arrogance this declaration takes, but it needs to be said. Voting is not a political act. It is the suspension of autonomy and agency by putting power as a form of passive hope into a political figure who knows nothing of you and gives 0 fucks about you. This long and endless summer, with its uprisings and wildfires, its hurricanes and heat waves, has taught us what it means to act in a way adequate to the situation. We have returned to the world We have felt our power, and it is terrifying. The courage of those first days in Minneapolis revealed a path forward beyond the ballot box, beyond quiet resignation behind screens and the endless scandal of the headlines. It revealed to us collectively that we are not passive machines.
They say we are fractured, that we can't agree on anything, that our side is riddled with conflict, and that our ambitions exceed our abilities. We say the we they configure us within is oriented by the understanding of a common enemy. This we operates as a multiplicity of autonomous and divergent fragments, as a decentralized archipelago of difference. The desired after of our current political ideologies cannot be truly realized until we take to the imminent work of destroying the ongoing machine of domination. This seems to be the position of the insurgent, gesturing insurrection as a way of life. This is the articulation of the remainder. It is the lessons we take from and that have been whispered to the wind by the histories of slave insurgencies, indigenous uprisings, and the refusal to be boxed into a capitalist language of domination. We want happy and vital lives. We imagine you do too. Lying, hiding, and placing our faith in politicians won't bring this about. Biden and Trump will bring us nothing other than more misery and death. It is rather regrettable to admit, but the battle has already begun. The questions are, how is it to be done? And what side are you on?
This November, remember what it felt like to act. The care, the intention, the intensity, the joy, the fear, the lingering depression of waiting on incompetent politicians to right their wrongs, the lingering depression of waiting on incompetent politicians to right their wrongs alone should tell you that your vote is nothing like an act. Vote all the same if you must. But understand, blockading your city, redistributing food and the means to live, reappropriating infrastructure, learning to fight and treat wounds together, freely distributing looted goods, and deactivating the police are more tangible and positioned gestures than any vote. Let us no longer mince words. We are enveloped in war. A Biden candidacy is not victory. Neither option can give us the world we want. What one chooses to do with that fact is left up to them. We love you and hope to see you in the battles to come.